And welcome to Earth 2, where superheroes exist and comic book talk is the norm. I'm your host, VitoD.
MoeCrosby.
Welcome to the planet.
Welcome to the planet.
Late last week, Warner Bros. Archived their Twitter. They announced that Mask of the Phantasm is finally coming to Bluray.
Yes.
If you're a Batman fan, like we
are.
Right? You'll recognize this movie. If you're new to Batman, then you're like, what the hell is this? Mask of the Phantasm is, before Killing Joke, the only movie to have a theatrical. I said that right, right?
Theatrical release.
Theatrical, no, because my girlfriend got on me yesterday because I said something and she was like, your accent again. Like I said with Hulk. So, it's the only movie to actually be in the movie theaters, and this was back in 1993. So, with the success of like the Tim Burton Batman and Batman Returns, and the success of the animated series, they were gonna make a direct to DVD release. But Warner Bros. Executives loved this movie so much, they're like, no, let's put it out in movie theaters. And that's what happened.
It was pretty big. It did a lot. It did pretty well. And, it spurned a lot of Batman fans were like, yo, this is like the greatest thing ever. And some of us were like, okay, this is just another Batman movie. But it was really good, regardless of whichever way you fall.
Yeah, we've all know what year one did for the origin story. But this one also was a origin story with all the flashbacks that they had in this movie. You see a young Bruce Wayne, you see him in present day and how he's matured, and you see him have a love interest that actually almost makes him not want to be Batman. So all in all, there was almost a point where there was not going to be a Batman. So we got to thinking what our favorite top 5 Batman animated movies are. So this is going to be a list of just Batman animated movies, no team ups, no movies where he just makes appearances. So
it's all,
like Flashpoint,
or
Doom,
or even the latest JLD that just came out because he makes an appearance.
Yeah,
but it's just all Batman, everything Batman.
Yeah, so even movies like even though it says Batman Assault on Arkham Asylum, it's not
necessarily a Batman story.
It's a Suicide Squad movie. So keep in mind this isn't in order because we went back and forth.
Couldn't agree in order.
We couldn't agree in order, but we did have the similar top 5.
Yeah. So we're just gonna give you a 5 list, not necessarily our top 5, but just the 5.
This is our top 5,
but it's not the in order. So we're just gonna throw it out to you.
Yep.
So
here it is. Our first entry. That doesn't mean number 1, but just our first entry. What do we have?
The Dark Knight Returns. Now this one is literally taking, Frank Miller's work from the comic books and translating that work into, straight to DVD. And this was really great because in all of the Batman stories that have come out that have taken from the comic books, not a lot of them took it directly from the comic books, right? This one was a direct translation.
Yeah, so we're not talking about just part 1. We're not talking about just part 2 because there is a deluxe version that shows both of them simultaneously. And I remember watching part 1 and being like, "Holy crap!"
Yeah.
And then when they showed part 2, I was like, "They're not gonna show the Tunnel of Love. They can't show the Tunnel of Love." And
because think about it. Prior to that, there are certain things in Batman books that you can't really translate. Because you want people to watch it or kids to watch it.
Yeah, so this one really pushed the whole PG-13 rating that it had.
To the line.
And Joker, you don't see it, but when you start thinking about it, Joker kills easily over 200, 300 people in this movie, and he's only in it for half of it.
Right, right.
So, yeah, it's very faithful to its original content. And just watching this movie I've seen about at least 6-7 times because I was obsessed with it at one point.
Yeah. I mean, what I really also loved about it was that, prior to that, again, every Batman story you've seen is Kevin Conroy as Batman. They decided to change it up a little bit because Batman was older, so they decided to give him an older, grisly voice, and they decided to use Peter Weller. If you don't know who Peter Weller is, old RoboCop, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yes. That voice is pretty distinct, and he works well for a grisly, older Batman, and so I thought that worked pretty well. That was one of the things I really liked. But all in all, it's pretty good. Really good story.
Yeah, and it caters to pretty much whatever kind of fan that you have. So like I remember watching it with people who've never seen a Batman animated movie and they fell in love with it. And then people like Kevin Smith, who's a big comic book buff, who's written Batman stories, and he talked about it, how he like completely went full on like nerdgasm after nerdgasm to the point where his wife was embarrassed to say, "I can't believe I've had sex with you."
Yeah, it was. No, this story is really the story is great, but then what they did translating that story to translating the story was even better. It just made a really good story even better. Like it made you appreciate the work of the comic book more. Because again, if you had never read the comic books, that would make you want to go pick up those stories. And,
I remember talking with someone. They're like, "Oh man, I can't wait till part 3 comes out." I'm like, there isn't a part 3.
Yeah, right.
That's just the whole story.
Well, that was our first entry.
Second entry would be from the same writer, Frank Miller, Batman Year One.
Whew. This one, again, it's almost a faithful translation. I think Frank Miller, whenever they translate any of his work, or whenever they want to translate his work, he's like, look, if you're going to do it right.
Yeah.
Take my work and put it on film the right way. Because, again, with like what they did in Dark Knight Returns, they did here in Year One. They were very faithful to the source material, and they kept a lot of the source material in the movie itself, and I enjoyed every scene of it. Like this is kind of an origin story to Batman. So this was like, again, we've seen some origin stories, but this was very, very gritty.
Yeah, I mean, for the people that love Batman Begins, this takes a lot of hints from Year One, and Year One was an amazing read. It was named Commissioner Gordon was voiced by Bryan Cranston, Zordon.
Yes,
right?
yes. And this was at the height of Breaking Bad, or towards the, so everything Bryan Cranston did was gold, and he was also very standout in this comic book. And in this movie.
Yeah.
So I loved, with animation, you want something to stand out, especially in the voice acting, and what Bryan Cranston did to bring Jim Gordon to life was fantastic. To me, if Bryan Cranston was gonna play a character in the DC universe, he was rumored to play a character, but then if he was going to play a character in the DC universe, I'd say Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Because he did really well with that one. So that was for me. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, it's not only just a Batman story in this. It's also Commissioner Gordon, because you see him when he's coming from where he was at. He's transferring in. You see that he doesn't rub well with the other police officers, with the other detectives. He gets jumped, and oh my god! And when he g's in a fight with dude, he hands him a bat because he's like he needs a handicap. It's not a fair fight if it's just me and him.
Yeah.
Right. The scene just like, and also the scene also in Batman Begins where he like pretends to like hold him at gunpoint, but really it's a stapler, and he tells him meet me here. But then you see Gordon chasing him. That's the same thing. Also, the thing with the bats, where he escapes when he's like in that one warehouse.
Yeah.
Where he calls over the bats. It's
Year One influenced the Batman Begins or Nolan's Batman trilogy a lot. So that was another reason I liked it, because like Vito said earlier when he was introducing the video, he said the thing about the success of the earlier Batman movies versus Mask of the Phantasm, where they draw a lot of parallels.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of those kind of things, and so it makes you appreciate like the original story, and then what it gave influence to. Next one is, this is one of the ones for our younger viewers. So I personally like this one because I liked the actual story, the actual Batman story in this one. This is gonna be Batman Beyond: The Return of the Joker. Now, like I said, our younger viewers, because earlier, you know, if you know anything about Batman Beyond, like Terry McGinnis came into, like, you know, before he came in right after the Batman animated series. This was early 2000s.
Yeah.
So he was like what a lot of younger people were introduced to as their Batman. And what I loved about this movie is that while you're giving us this futuristic Batman, you then go back and bring an original character.
Yeah. I wasn't too big of a fan of the Batman Beyond series. I was very close-minded in the aspect back then where only one person could be Batman, and that was, you know, Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
So seeing that Terry McGinnis, a guy that I really kind of didn't connect to in any way, all of a sudden just takes up the Batman Beyond, but he's being coached by old Bruce. I thought it was but I still watched. I still watched this movie. I watched this movie years ago, and I really enjoyed it. It's very scary at one point.
Yes,
especially if you're a little kid, you're watching it, you're like, what the hell? Because Joker implants himself through a chip into Tim Drake, and just seeing everything, and it's a big mystery where it's like, is this the real Joker? Is this Joker from back then? It can't be, because he would have been like 80, 90 years old right now. So
I mean,
in the Joker gang.
Yeah, in the Joker gang. Another thing that I liked about this movie, when I said they went back, you had Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their roles. So this was like, yo, we're gonna give you new Batman, but we're gonna keep the new Batman, but we're gonna also keep, you know, our Batman core.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if we're gonna get a Joker, why don't we? If we're gonna add the Joker into this, why don't we just bring in
Barbara Gordon was the commissioner?
Exactly. Like it was very good. I really like this, and I suggest, if you haven't seen it, if you, like Vito said, he wasn't a fan. So a lot of people who probably weren't fans of the Batman Beyond story, or the animated show, probably didn't give this a chance. But I say, if you haven't seen it, give it a chance. Go pick it up. Number 4?
Yeah, but not 4 in our hearts.
Yeah, but just number 4. Batman Under the Red Hood. Well, not Batman Under the Red Hood.
Yeah, it's Under the Red Hood.
Under the Red Hood. So yeah, that one.
Because the comic was Under the Hood.
So this one, man, this is a toss up, because I'll say, before we go into introducing this one or talking about this one, this is his number 1.
Yeah.
But this is my number 2. That's it. So Vito, talk about this one then, since it's so close to your heart. I'll let him do it.
All right, so this book is loosely based off of 2 stories, Death in the Family and Under the Hood. Well, they kind of hint at what the events of what happened in Hush in this movie, but going forward, this movie shows you a past, and it brings up, you know, the current stuff, and then you have fan favorites in it. Nightwing's in it, Amazo's in it, Ra's al Ghul's in it, Joker's in it, Black Mask is in it. Nobody who knew Black Mask before this was in here laughing his ass off at Black Mask just being mad and punching the hell out of his henchmen. Like, he was like serving him up like 2 pieces, like he was working at Popeyes, right? Seeing Red Hood, and this is where his popularity just like kind of soared. Nobody knew who Red Hood was pretty much in the mainstream up until this movie came out. Now all of a sudden I'm seeing people dressed up as Red Hood. You see him appearing in like games like Arkham Knight, or now Injustice 2. And he was supposed to be in Arkham City, but the what's it called? It was kind of too late in production. But this showed us that there were multiple Robins going out, because everyone only knew Dick Grayson. This is what separated it and showed us, hey, there were more things happen, and there is death that shows us in this movie. And because of this movie, I'm pretty sure that this is the reason why people want that whole rumor that Jared Leto is Jason Todd happened because of this movie.
Yes, man. I'm just gonna add a couple of things, because I don't think I can do what Vito did, but or top it. All I'm gonna say, yeah. All I'm gonna say, is what this movie did. Like you said, 2 stories. This was like maybe 78, 90 minutes.
Yeah, it had the most passionate ending at the end. The last 15 minutes gives you like heart palpitations because you're just like, oh my god, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? And then you see that Batman's put in a position where he has to choose kill or be killed for the love of who his second Robin was. And he was like, if you love me, then you'll let me kill him. You'll kill him yourself because he took me away from you. And you find out, and you get like a shitty response. As I'm sorry for language, but you get like a bad response by Batman as to why he doesn't kill, because Jason is like, I'm not talking about killing Penguin. I'm not talking about killing Two-Face. I'm just talking about killing Joker because he took me away from you.
This guy.
It's just this one person, and then you can't do it. So that's why Jason Todd has this beef against Batman, because not even his moral code allowed him to show his love and emotion for what Jason Todd meant to him, right? Joker wasn't even voiced by Mark Hamill in this movie, so you would think that, and it didn't matter. It was actually, he's one of my favorite ones just off what movie? It's John DiMaggio. It's that robot from Futurama.
Yes. And this is where, like he said, voice acting is really important, because again, so if you don't get Mark Hamill, sometimes some people feel slighted by it, but we got a different Joker in this, and he did fantastic.
Was more cynical than what Mark Hamill has been in the movies, because at one point once he realizes that it's the second Robin that has had him tied up into a chair, and he's beaten him already with a crowbar, because he's like, does this hurt? Going back to how he killed the Robin in the first one, he was like, does this hurt? He was like, it kind of tickles when I laugh. And he continues to talk trash to him. And then at the end, when he was like, holy crap, let's take a picture, it's a family reunion, one with me and you, one with me and the boy, and one with the crowbar. He doesn't stop being this big mouth, trash talking psychopath killer. And he still continues it, even though he's looking death right in the eye and he's being held at gunpoint. This is the best Batman animated movie, in my opinion, because it has everything. You can't even have like a counter argument. How are you gonna still say it's two?
I can't have a counter because you're like super passionate about this one, so I'm gonna let you have it. But no, seriously, like there's a lot that this movie had to do in the amount of time it had to do it, and it did it very well. Like he said, 2 whole stories from 2 different comic books had to be done in this one. So you got to give props to the director.
And everyone, as soon as the movie came out, everyone said that this is the best animated movie. The only movie that has topped this, in my opinion, was the Flashpoint movie, and that's because Flashpoint showed a whole universe.
Yes.
And gave you that, and that's what it took to beat.
And Flashpoint Batman was like,
and that's what it took to beat Under the Red Hood.
All right, you know, like I said, I'm gonna give it to you, but here we go. We're gonna finally talk about our last, you know, get top 5, our last 5, number 5, or the one that we think, you know, save the best for last, is the movie that Warner Brothers decided to re-release. And
Mask of the Phantasm. So I mean, because it wouldn't be a list if it wasn't in it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Top 5 Batman stories or movies. So that one is just really special to me because it's the first one I saw. Like, I'm sorry, you know, sometimes just because it's the first one you see, it just stays with you, and it stayed with me. So I like the Red Hood. Don't get me wrong. I think it's a very strong story. I think it's very emotional, but the Phantasm is just as good. Even a twinge better, because this is the height of Batman. This was at the height of Batman. What did you think? What did you need to beat the movie? What did you need to beat? Like, dude, this might be better than the actual 1989 movie.
Oh, no.
It might be better than that movie, and it's an animated movie. Like, it's okay. I'll say it like this: it's the best. I mean,
I'm not saying that it's not.
No. I'll say it's the best animated. It's the best Batman animated movie that came out in theaters.
That's the only. Well, besides Killing Joke, but the only reason why Killing Joke was shown in theaters is because of the massive popularity of that book.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't for that, then
it probably wouldn't have made it to theater, because this is just so special. There's something so special about the Mask of the Phantasm that just, you know, got it there. But I really like this one, and I think it's something that a lot of you probably have seen and don't remember. So with the re-release, it's something that you're gonna probably pick up and gonna have to see again. So I'm not going to talk too much about it because I want you guys to go see it.
Besides, anyway, we already talked about it.
Yeah, we talked about it in the beginning. So I mean, there you have it, folks. That's our 5. The Dark Knight Returns as a whole, we're not separating it. Year One,
Batman Beyond, Return of the Joker,
Under the Red Hood, and
Mask of the Phantasm. So down below, just write down in the comments, what are your top 5? Do you agree with us? Do you don't agree with us?
I'm pretty sure someone is gonna say my number 1 is better than your number 1. I'm pretty sure. So if my number 1 is better, just say that. All right. Let me know.
Team Mo or Team Vito?
Yeah.
So just go with also hit us up on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, Earth2 Comic Cast, and that's what the number 2.
Yep, number 2.
And check out the podcast.
Check out the podcast
under the same name at SoundCloud.com.
Earth2 Comic Cast. Last week we gave away 2 tickets for Transformers. We might be giving away 2 more tickets this week, so check that out. You want to listen because at the end, I'm gonna wait to the end to do that for you guys. All right.
So as always, thank you for watching. Go for your long box.